Karen sold a veteran's Purple Heart. Homeland Security showed up with handcuffs. What would you do if someone tried to profit off a hero's sacrifice? In a small-town pawn shop, Karen Miller thought she could cash in on a sacred symbol of Bavaria Purple Heart medal earned by a fallen soldier. But her greed set off a chain of events that would unravel her world and remind everyone that justice doesn't sleep. Karen ran her pawn shop like a queen presiding over a crumbling empire. Known for her sharp tongue and sharper deals, she'd haggle over anything: wedding rings, family heirlooms, even a child's piggy bank if the price was right. Locals whispered about her ruthless streak, but she didn't care. To her, everything had a price, and sentiment was just a hurdle to profit. One muggy afternoon, a wiry man named Tom shuffled into her shop, his hands trembling as he placed a small, velvet box on the counter. Inside gleamed a Purple Heart, its gold border catching the light. "It was my brother's," Tom muttered, eyes downcast. "He died in Afghanistan. I need the money." Karen's lips curled into a thin smile. She saw not a story of loss, but a chance to flip a rare item for big bucks. She offered Tom $50, knowing collectors would pay thousands. Desperate and broken, Tom took the deal and left, the door's bell jingling like a mocking farewell. The truth was uglier than anyone could have imagined. Karen had no intention of selling the medal to a collector who'd cherish it. She'd been running a side hustle, fencing stolen or questionable goods through a shady online marketplace. The Purple Heart, she figured, would fetch a premium from some eccentric buyer who didn't care about its origins. She listed it that night, describing it as vintage military bling with a starting bid of $5,000. Within hours, bids rolled in, but so did something else: attention. A local veteran, Sarah, who'd lost her leg in the same war, stumbled across the listing while browsing for memorabilia. Her blood boiled. She knew a Purple Heart wasn't bling. It was a symbol of sacrifice earned in blood. Suspicious, Sarah contacted a friend in the Veterans Affairs office, who flagged the listing for investigation. The trail led straight to Karen's shop. Enter Agent Marcus Reed, a Homeland Security officer with a reputation for sniffing out fraud like a bloodhound. Reed had been tracking a string of stolen military honors being sold online, a case that hit close to home. His own father had earned a Purple Heart in Vietnam. When Sarah's tip landed on his desk, he didn't hesitate. But here's where the story twists. Reed wasn't alone. A young journalist named Mia, working for the local paper, had been digging into Karen's shop for months, suspecting it was a front for black market deals. Mia had her own Riasansa cousin who'd been scammed by Karen years ago, losing a family locket to her predatory pricing. Mia tipped Reed off about Karen's late-night shipments and shady clientele, giving him the ammunition he needed to move in. The stage was set for a showdown. The confrontation came on a stormy Tuesday morning. Karen was behind her counter, counting cash from a deal, when the shop's door slammed open. Reed and his partner, Agent Lopez, stormed in, badges flashing. The air crackled with tension as customers froze, sensing something big. "Karen Miller," Reed said, voice like steel. "You're under investigation for trafficking stolen military honors." Karen laughed, a sharp, nervous bark. "You've got nothing on me?" she snapped, shoving the Purple Heart into a drawer. But Reed was prepared. He slapped a warrant on the counter, detailing her online listings and bank transactions tied to the medal. The crowd gasped as Lopez pulled up photos on his tablet, showing Karen's vintage bling, listing next to a photo of Tom's brother, a smiling soldier in uniform. Sarah, who'd wheeled herself to the shop to witness the takedown, pointed a trembling finger. "That's not yours to sell," she said, her voice breaking. Karen's bravado crumbled. She tried to spin a story, claimed she didn't know the medal's significance, that Tom had misled her. But Mia, who'd slipped into the crowd with her recorder running, dropped the hammer. She played back an interview with Tom, his voice raw as he described Karen's cold offer and her promise to make bank on his brother's medal. The shop fell silent, save for the hum of the fluorescent lights. Reed stepped forward, handcuffs glinting. "You profited off a hero's death," he said. "That's not just a crime, it's a betrayal." As Lopez cuffed her, Karen's face twisted in panic, her empire of greed collapsing in real time. Sarah's eyes met Tom's across the room. Been called in by Mia, and he nodded, tears streaming. The medal was recovered, destined to be returned to his family, where it belonged. The fallout was swift and merciless. Karen's shop was shut down, her assets frozen pending a full investigation. The town turned on her, her name becoming synonymous with disgrace. Social media erupted, with veterans groups and locals sharing the story, calling for justice. Mia's article went viral, exposing not just Karen's scheme but a broader network of stolen valor profiteers. Tom, bolstered by community support, started a foundation to protect military honors, vowing to keep his brother's legacy alive. Sarah became its first volunteer, her courage inspiring others to speak out. As for Karen, she faced charges of fraud and trafficking stolen goods, her courtroom defiance melting into a plea for leniency that fell on deaf ears. She'd gambled on greed and lost everything. This story isn't just about one woman's fall, it's a reminder that honor isn't for sale. When someone tries to exploit sacrifice, there are people like Sarah, Mia, and Reed ready to fight back. It's a call to stand up for what's right, to protect the legacies of those who gave everything. What do you think? Where do we draw the line between profit and principle? Share your thoughts, because stories like this demand we all take a stand.